Tonight, Ghana's High Commission building in the UK, our High Commissioner's official residence, and the Ghana International Bank building are set to be sold to defray 140 million judgment debt. It is now a race against time to avert a final sale.
The state at a point in time reneged on its promise to go by the agreement.
Why?
For that I cannot explain.
Based on that,
it is the finance ministry that entered into an agreement, because normally Ghana is the finance ministry that pays all these debts. Then, having failed to do so, then the judgment creditor decided to execute the judgment.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Government is tonight in a race against time to avert the impending sale of Ghana's High Commission building, which provides visa and other services in the UK, the High Commissioner's official residence, and the Ghana International Bank building to defray $140 million judgment debt. Now, Joy News can confirm the properties have now been attached, ready to be sold, leaving Ghana on the verge of losing the properties unless the finance ministry can cough up $140 million in judgment debt awarded to oil traders Trafigura. The award arose out of a written agreement for the installation and operation of two power plants, which Ghana, as the tribunal found, had unlawfully terminated prior to the expiry of the contract. Now, the Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Chiang-Yeboah, tells my colleague Elton Brobe on The Probe that his outfit is helpless now and counting on the finance ministry to act fast.
Now, there was representation from the state. This judgment was delivered in January 2021, before the current Attorney General assumed office as the Attorney General. And this particular case was fought, or the state was represented by an external solicitor. So that's the sole judgment against the Republic. But when we got to know that there was a judgment against the Republic, the AG took steps to speak to the Ministry of Finance for them to liquidate the debt, because it's a just debt. Now, the Ministry of Finance then entered into agreement with the judgment creditors as to how the state was going to pay this judgment debt of $140 million.
Yes.
A part of it was paid, but the state at a point in time reneged on its promise to go by the agreement.
Why?
For that I cannot explain. Based on that, it is the finance ministry.
My colleague Kojo Nyako joins me in the studio. We'll get him to give us a bit more as we begin to appreciate the gravity of this particular challenge following the ruling that was delivered recently, but also relating to the real basis for the original termination, which is was the subject of that court action. But before we get into that, I want to bring in Papa Wosu-Ankoma. He is Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, and he joins us right now on Zoom from the UK. Thank you very much, Mr. Papa Wosu-Ankoma, for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you.
We listened to the Deputy Attorney General, who obviously was very worried about where we are, and he confirms the buildings have been attached. Can you confirm that from where you are?
Well, it's as far as I'm aware, it's only Regina House, which is used for commercial purposes, because it's been rented by Ghana International Bank, two other banks, and another commercial entity. That is the one that has been attached. All other properties are diplomatic properties and covered by immunity. I hear you talk about the High Commissioner's residence. I mean, that's it's being used for diplomatic purposes. Likewise, the other building you were talking about, the Chancery, it's used for diplomatic purposes. So that, as far as I'm aware, has not been attached. But I'm sure the government is taking steps to liquidate this debt. It's unfortunate that we've come to this stage. It appears our financial circumstances as a country, probably, I'm not holding brief for the finance minister, but that may have constrained the finance ministry from honoring the obligation to pay the debt by installments. But I'm aware that the finance ministry is presently engaged in negotiations with the lawyers for the judgment creditor to liquidate this debt.
And you indicate the Regina House, and that's where the Ghana International Bank is located. And as we speak, it has been attached, you confirm. In reality, though, what does that mean for the bank? Have you been given a time frame within which this will be sold off?
No, I mean, this is just the beginning. It's quite a process. It's not as if it can be done either today or tomorrow. I mean, because Regina House, for instance, it's on a lease. All right, we've leased the property. All right, even though it's for a long time, it's got about 5 or 6 years to run, and I know there are negotiations to extend the lease. We are in negotiations to extend the lease, but I can assure you and Ghanaians that sure the Ministry of Finance has things well in hand. I mean, the creditors are interested in their money. It's not going to be easy selling these properties. So it's not as if tomorrow they are going to evict the Ghana High Commission and his staff from his premises, or the High Commissioner from his residence, or tenants in Regina House are going to be evicted. No, it's a charging order, and they're going to manage it somehow till they recover the money. So it's just a way of pressurizing government to pay the judgment debt, which I'm sure arrangements are being made to do so.
For the avoidance of doubt, we still have access to the Regina building for the purposes of conducting the work of the bank.
We don't, I mean, the bank is a separate entity from the government of Ghana, even though the shareholders are agencies of the government and the government itself, but they have access. They are still working. Nobody has been evicted, including the other tenants in the building. I can confirm that.
And since you are a chief representative there in the UK, have you been briefed formally at all since this latest award was given to attach?
Yes, I was briefed by the bank. I was briefed by the bank even before the order itself was sent to our office. And I know we forwarded it to Capital. The Ministry of Finance is aware. And of course, I've had some discussions with some members of government about it. But the fact is that we are under serious financial strain. That is what has occasioned this unfortunate situation.
You're right, because the original judgment, we were expected to pay far more than 140 million. In fact, it was in excess of 160 million. We renegotiated this, and had some form of an arrangement. And then, from what we understand, we may have actually paid a part of this, but since then we haven't actually.
Part was paid.
Yeah.
Part was paid. Part was paid. That much I know. We honored the payment, and then up to a certain stage, because of the financial crunch, I'm sure. Well, I don't control the finances of the country, but I guess because of financial crunch, we couldn't have the means. I don't think that we would have deliberately overlooked this liability. When you are financially challenged, you prioritize payments. I'm saying this because I've been a member of government and I know how tough these things are. You must prioritize payments. Do you stop importing oil because of this debt? Do you stop paying salaries because of this debt? So, understandably, I'm sure it's because of these financial challenges that we are faced with this situation. But I'm certain that the Ministry of Finance is working diligently and assiduously to try and get this matter settled, because it's in the interest of even the judgment creditor to get a settlement of this, because executing this by attaching certain properties of the government will not let you easily get your money.
You talk about we paid part of the amount. Do you know how much exactly we've paid since we reached that agreement to pay this over time and reduce the amount from 163?
Well, I think the best person to answer this will be the Office of the Ministry of Finance. I don't have the records here.
You said you've spoken to some officials in government. How seriously do you believe this is being taken, and what assurances have you received?
Please, Evans, how serious do you think? I mean, it's embarrassing. I am embarrassed as a High Commissioner. You know, I mean, for this thing to appear on the internet and everything, and being a subject matter of discussion in the media in Ghana and here, in the Ghanaian media here. So I'm certain, why? I mean, it's serious, but it's just that, as I've told you, and I'm sure Evans, you're also aware, I mean, even for those in private business, it gets to a stage you have to prioritize payments. And when you don't have access to credit, and money is being generated, does not meet your obligation, you prioritize. Of course, I'm sure government could have said, okay, right, we'll pay this, but let's not pay some workers. What would you have said? So that is the situation, all right? And I'm sure as to why this contract was terminated, and in terms of the financial liabilities, which is better, I'm sure those in charge, if you get in touch with them, they will explain to you. Because, of course, you know a lot about these energy contracts and the financial obligations that have been saddled with as a country. So you take certain decisions. That's why you are in government. It's unfortunate that we have arrived at this stage, but I'm certain that shortly this matter will be settled and we'll resume paying by installments as we agreed to some months ago.
And that is, I guess, where many who are equal as embarrassed as you will say, well, you're being very hopeful there, but considering that we haven't done so in a while, there is a lot of skepticism that we can actually pull this off within the time.
Circumstances have changed. Circumstances have changed. All right? Circumstances have changed. When you are in a tight corner financially, you can't lay hands on any funds. Some people may refuse even to advance you manage to do certain things. But when it comes to this stage, it's not as if you are being irresponsible. You know, you are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, a rock and a hard place. So people would then appreciate that, no, genuinely you have a serious problem.
And that question resonates, is it not? That we brought this on ourselves, did we not? By terminating a fine contract.
I'm not in a position to say so. I'm the humble representative of the people of Ghana in the United Kingdom. All right? I'm sure when you ask the relevant government officials, they will be able to explain to you that they took a decision in the best interests of the country at the time the decision was taken. For that, I can say it because I've also had the experience of being in high echelons of government. And I know how tough these things are. And let's not forget, this is not the first time Ghana has been put in such a situation. At various points, when I was Attorney General, we were faced with this situation. All right? But at the end of the day, I mean, it's important that every action is taken to save our country from embarrassment. It's not really good. I'm not very comfortable. When my colleagues ask me what is happening, I mean, I just say that, well, it's part of governance and problems that we are facing as a country.
And you say colleagues, I just wonder, because you are chief representative there, the Ghanaian community there, have they been calling you, find out what's happening? You see a certain concern among the community there?
Yes, I mean, they are very much concerned. They are very much concerned. Why not? I mean, when they read in the media, particularly in social media, and that's not gone viral. So I guess it's not only in Ghana. I mean, I've had calls from the United States about this and so forth. And I know that government takes this matter seriously, and we are dealing with it. And even as you are in Accra, you are in capital, you even have sources of information that I may not have. I mean, I'm sure you've made inquiries and you've been assured that government takes this matter seriously.
Papa Osakuma, thank you very much for your time here on Top Story.
It's a pleasure, Evans. All the best to your listeners and your viewers. Thank you.
And that's Papa Osakuma there. He is the Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, speaking to us about this very, what he says, embarrassing situation that he himself finds himself in, and the country as well, where properties there in the UK, he says, confirming tonight that the Ghana International Bank property has already now been attached and risk being sold if we don't find 140 million. I want to bring in right now Dr. Kwabena Donkor. He used to be the Power Minister. Joins us on the line right now. Thank you, sir, for your time, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, here on Top Story.
Thank you.
We brought this on ourselves?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We brought this on ourselves. Let's get back to the basics. The Ghana Power Generating Company, which was a subsidiary of Trafigura, set up in Ghana to generate power during our power emergency crisis, had the cheapest tariff in terms of all the emergency plans we brought in then. It came in and we exited office. So one expected that, like all the other power plants, they would go ahead to generate, or some arrangement will be concluded with the company. Unfortunately, the government of Ghana, contrary to expert advice, went ahead and terminated the contract. In power purchase agreements, it is important that there's always a termination clause. So even in termination, there is a process. But we did not even go by the process of termination in the agreement we have signed. Indeed, the reason we gave for terminating the agreement was that they had not obtained some permits, from some energy commission permits, etc., to construct the power plant, and that they were constructing the power plant without permits. At that time, I raised the alarm that this was a very dangerous route, because under the contract, the government of Ghana was obliged to assist them to obtain all the necessary permits. It was written black and white in the contract. And therefore, we cannot turn around and use the fact that they did not have all the Energy Commission permits as basis for terminating the contract. If you remember, I raised the alarm at the time that we were putting ourselves in danger by taking that route. Of course, when governments come and they are full of power and they believe they can do anything without consequences, it lands us where we are. They were cautioned at that time. I remember granting a series of interviews on this. Elton Brobe, your colleague, interviewed me in Parliament House, and we said, look, this is not the route. In every contract, there's a termination clause. So if for any reason we wanted to terminate, the minimum we could do was to go by the terms of the contract. That we failed to do.
And I have in front of me the full judgment, which also recounts some of the reasons government gave in court for the termination. It includes what government called ignominious corruption, and this surrounds the acquisition of this Blue Ocean site, which government had argued that the Trafigura, who is a minority shareholder, was an indirect minority shareholder in Blue Ocean Investment Limited, and that this was allowed to happen. And government came in and saw it and felt, well, it was a legitimate basis then to terminate the contract. I wonder, when you were the Power Minister, did this come to your attention at all? Did you see any concern with the contract?
The power plant was supposed to have been located in the Western region. The government of Ghana and the company at a later stage, after I left office, then agreed that they should relocate to the Tema enclave. I am hearing of this corruption for the first time. If it's corruption in the acquisition of sites, well, that wasn't handled by the Ministry of Energy or the Ministry of Power at the time. If it's the acquisition of sites. But that was not the official reason. In the letter of termination, the wording was that they had not obtained the necessary permits, and specifically named the Energy Commission construction permits. That was what was in the letter of termination. The site acquisition and corruption and related issues may be an afterthought, but in the termination letter signed by Honorable Ajakun, it was more about permits, not obtaining the necessary permits. And that was why I cautioned at the time that in the contract we had an obligation to assist the company to obtain the necessary permits. And so we couldn't turn around and use that as a basis for termination.
I mean, where we are now, it appears simple enough, isn't it? We simply have to find 140 million and pay, or come to some understanding on a payment plan.
Yes, well, there's a need for a payment plan. But however, even after that, as a country and as a people, we must investigate why and how we came to this stage. We must. We cannot allow this to just go under the carpet as one of those things.
You want people held accountable?
This is avoidable debt. Absolutely avoidable. You see, the use of power should not be arbitrary. The use of power should be considerate. You may not like the company. You may, for some other reasons unknown to anyone, you may not like just the face of the company. But the way you go about it must be within the confines of the law.
And who do you hold responsible for this?
Well, we must hold whoever signed the termination letter responsible. First of all, he owes us an explanation. Let me not say hold him responsible. He probably may be acting upon higher directive. But at least the Minister for Energy then signed the termination letter. So he owes it a duty to us as a people to explain why he got us into this debt.
Thank you very much. And that there is Dr. Kwabena Donkor, who is a former power minister. I want to hear from you. 055-1111-997.
Risk-free on the new season with Betway. Use the golden booking code found on the Betway site to bet on selected match week and get 100% back as a free bet on any losses. You always get more with Betway. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number? The way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Aye straight. Aye direct. Aye sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant number on other networks. So whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today.
Vodafone. Ready? Let's go. We all go bring some savannah.
Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paint, we all go paint some.
We all go paint some savannah. We all go paint some.
And welcome to Newsnight. In the next 60 minutes, Volta River Authority defends decision to spill their Kunsumbu Dam in spite of its devastating effect, insisting that not doing it would have had a far-reaching effect on the dam and the country at large.
VRA acted in right sense. We took all the necessary steps to make sure that the dam was not compromised, and we had all the emergency preparedness protocols in place.
Well, the company is still unclear when the spilling will end.
It is early days. I cannot confirm when the spillage would stop.
Meanwhile, Sanitation Minister is tonight blaming flood victims for not heeding to early warning signs from the authorities to evacuate.
People in the community did simulation exercises with them even at Mepe, yet they refused to leave. And government has to spend millions of money on relief items.
Also tonight, health authorities at the Suojaman district of the Eastern region alarmed over high cases of bilharzia as directorate record 240% increase among residents residing along the Volta Lake.
2021, we recorded 15 cases. In 2022, it increased to 25. But as of last week, 2023, we have recorded 75 cases.
We'll get to hear from the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, who has disclosed that a team of psychologists will be deployed to offer counseling to victims of the dam spillage battling trauma.
Also tonight, a member of Parliament for Bibiano Ahiaso, Alfred Obeng Boateng, justifies comments suggesting he has saved large sums of dollars, insisting no law bars him from saving such amounts.
It's in dollars. Means it's fine. And I say, I'm converting my cities into dollars. It could be at a bank. It could also be in my room. It would be, there's no offense in it.
But what has that got to do with his campaign for re-election? Meanwhile, in our Fair Delegate series, we focus on delegates in the Upper East region as they share what will influence their vote in the upcoming MPP presidential primaries.
I will take it, but I will vote for you because I believe it's the taxpayers' money. When it comes with money gifts, I will call it because we are all Elephant's family.
In business, Ghana Revenue Authority shuts down cement company Cell for non-payment of over 700 million Ghana cedis due the state.
And in sports, newly promoted side Hearts of Lions extend their winless run to 5 games after another draw against Bibini Gold Stars in the Ghana Premier League.
And also tonight, don't be deceived. That's a stern warning from management of multimedia as they caution informations circulating on social media bearing Joy News logo and cloning anchors at fake. We have details of that and more here on Newsnight. You want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp is 055-1111-997. We are live on affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Do join us with your thoughts and comments. I am Emefa Apau.
And my name is Evans Mensah, and we start tonight with this continuing coverage of the tragedy that is unfolding in the Volta region and other parts of the country, by the way, following the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. And tonight, while over 36,000 persons in 3 regions continue to reel under the devastating impact of the spillage of Ghana's hydro dam in Akosombo, the Volta Authority is defending its handling of the spillage and what it did to prepare residents along the river.
Well, there's been addressing a press conference a while ago since the incident, and the VRA's deputy CEO in charge of services, engineer Kenneth Arthur, insists the company did not sleep on the job.
This event was quite unavoidable, and you would bear with me that prediction of weather is not an exact science. You could have an idea of what would happen, but in the midst of the event, that is when it will unfold to reality. VRA has a mandate to keep the water level up to safe levels, beyond which we stand the risk of dam break, which is an unimaginable event. That worst case, if VRA allows it to happen, it means that the impact would be far greater than what we have seen. So I'll say that VRA acted in right sense. We took all the necessary steps to make sure that the dam was not compromised. And we had all the emergency preparedness protocols in place to forewarn the potentially affected persons before the spill event started. And I can only say that that is why we have not even recorded any casualties. Of course, some of the properties, you couldn't move them. So we can see that some properties are flooded. But then no life is lost because the potential affected persons had enough time to move away from the dangerous places. So VRA did not sleep on duty.
Well, my colleague Carlos Caloni is on dry grounds today. He's been covering this particular press conference organized by the VRA. Joins us in the studio. So, Carlos, you put 3 clear questions to the VRA. First, on when spilling will end and what the plan is going forward for the affected areas. What was the response?
All right, so VRA is not too sure exactly when they're going to end the spillage, and the plan is that they'll continue spilling until the water levels reduce.
So, what is the state of the spillage? And whether the level is coming down. Well, let me start by saying that I will cautiously say that at this point in time, we would expect a decline or the water level to recede. From the data that we have gathered so far, there are indications that the water level might have started to recede. It is early days. I cannot confirm when the spillage would stop, but then there are clear signs that the water is receding.
Well, Carlos is still with us. There were issues also about how much it is costing the VRA financially and how it's affecting the company. What response did you get?
All right, Mafa. So the VRA said they have voted 20 million Ghana cedis towards the disaster, but currently they've spent about 9 million Ghana cedis so far.
Okay. Well, how about concerns that other regions and other areas have been neglected by the company in all this?
Well, according to the VRA, it's not like they have neglected other areas. It's just that the focus is much more on the Mepe area. And so all the other areas are getting the equal attention, not that they have neglected those areas.
The complaints are that because VRA had to do the necessary spelling, so most people think that it is VRA that has caused the floods downstream, to the extent that we are not even minding those people at the upstream. There are regulations, to live by the sides of the river. We have what we call the 280 feet contour, that is upstream, defines the area that will be inundated if we operate at full supply level of the reservoir. And that is the more reason why that buffer is created around the 280 contour, because there's a likelihood that if we have rains like this, all those areas will be inundated. It's rather unfortunate that we have people caught in these floods, but VRA is also sending some relief items to the north as well. However, the lower Volta has taken the center stage. That is why probably you haven't heard anything about VRA's efforts in the north.
Well, for today, we've also been hearing from the Sanitation Minister, Frida Pempe, who's been talking about concerns that she has about residents not heeding to early warning from the authority, the VRA.
The Akosombo spillage, even though VRA, NADMO, the Water Resources Commission came together to educate the people in the community, did simulation exercises with them even at Mepe, yet they refused to leave. They didn't want to be evacuated. They stayed there till the end when we started spilling. Unfortunately, look at what is happening. And government has to spend millions of money on relief items, on education. The whole area, the water is contaminated. And what Ghana Water and Water Resources Commission would have to spend money, millions of money to treat the water before we can pass it through our pipes. So a stitch in time saves nine, but sometimes it's difficult to accept the situation. But we will plead with all of you to accept it as it is. And let's all come together and ensure that we have safe drinking water.
And that's the Water Resources and Sanitation Minister there talking to the press today about her own concerns about residents refusing to leave, although they were warned. We'll hear from the MPs there on the ground whose communities have been hardly hit. Let's bring in George Kojo Isi, the Communications Director at NADMO, who joins us on the telephone line right now. And thank you, Mr. Isi, for your time here on Newsnight.
My pleasure, Evans.
Let's get a quick update on the relief effort tonight. We know that the cabinet met over the weekend, and we got a briefing from the Information Minister that a decision has been taken for regular updates of cabinet itself. As we speak tonight, where are you in terms of the relief effort and supplying those who are in need with what they require?
Yeah, where we are, yes, we are still in the communities, and we've moved to the upstream area. As today, my Director General and some other members were in the Yeji area, the Bono East region, to make a presentation of relief items to the affected victims in that enclave. I believe, as the VRA engineer, Deputy Chief Executive said, the backlash is also having effects there. And so presentation of items, food and non-food items, were done today to the regional minister on behalf of the affected victims.
VRA announced today that so far they spent about 9 million cedis. Is that money coming through NADMO to help with the relief, or this is funding that you secured independently of VRA?
No. The VRA expenditure is VRA expenditure. In fact, they are working with us, but they are making most of the procurement themselves. But then they do that in partnership with NADMO.
And are you adequately resourced now to deal and come to the aid of everybody who is in need tonight?
Yes, with the presence of the Interministerial Committee, they are on the ground, they are seeing what is going on. And so as and when our requests go, they are meeting our requests, and we have supplies for the people.
Today we heard from the MP for Ada, for example. We've also heard last week from the Pro East MP, all the way up in Bono, and they all say people have been neglected.
Yes, the Pro East is part of those who were attended to today. The Ada, I also listened to the MP on your set. Yes, they were the latter part of those who were directly hit. You know, initially Ada had not been hit severely, but now we are having the biting effect. And so, yes, our tentacles will reach them and will attend to everyone that is affected.
Well, I heard you at the press conference also, Mr. AEC, the issue about the way forward, what happens in the future, since we know that spilling is not ending today. Did you get any indication? Is there any engagement at a stakeholder level on what exactly will happen in the future?
Yes, I think the Interministerial Committee, maybe Evans knows already, is focusing on 3 areas: safety, relief, and rehabilitation. And so that falls within the rehabilitation angle. Somebody asked, what are we doing? The structures and co. And so what we are saying is that a part of that, the experts, the technocrats, the engineers, who have to look at the structural integrity of the buildings that have been submerged. There are school buildings, there are people's individual properties and co. You cannot just say because the water is receded, they are going back into those structures. No, we may have another disaster on our hands. So those must be done before a decision is taken, whether we are pulling down those structures based on the report by the technical experts or it's fit for purpose so they can move in.
Well, we're grateful, Mr. AEC, for your company this evening.
Thank
and
you.
we'll keep on monitoring the situation in these areas. But we'll check on the MPs in the area.
Let's do so. Kabla Woyo Mates, MP for South Tonk, another area hardly hit by this, and joins us on the line right now. Mr. Wimmer, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, my brother.
I know we've focused a lot on North Tonk. We've rarely spoken to you in the midst of this crisis. What's the situation in your area?
Well, thank you, and good evening to your listeners. It's not different from, I'm sure, what you may have heard or seen at North Tonk. We have about over 1,300 plus households displaced, and individuals numbering about 7,000-8,000, and we're still counting because those areas close to the estuary that are having double heat, that is from the tidal wave and as well as from the spill of the river water. So those are the challenges currently we're going through, and at least relief items have been forthcoming and trickling in. We got some from our president, we got some from some NGOs. My brother standing the Ben Kwasi Foundation, Benjamin Kofi Kwasi Foundation. We may have some VRA giving some items to the district chief executive, and I think that boy is also doing some distribution of those items. And I think those are just a summary, and I just got back from some of the communities. They called this afternoon that they've been hit. That is Ajikofe. That is also close to the estuary as well.
And of course, as this has been going on in the last 1 week or so, we're beginning to learn more about why this was such a catastrophe. One of the reasons we are learning tonight from the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources is that the people simply refused to move. despite the warnings that they got from the VRA. I wanted to listen to her today and speak to the press.
The Akosombo spillage, even though VRA, NADMO, the Water Resources Commission came together to educate the people in the community, did simulation exercises with them even at Lepe, yet they refused to leave. They didn't want to be evacuated. They stayed there till the end when we started spilling. Unfortunately, look at what is happening. And government has to spend millions of money on relief items, on education. The whole area, the water is contaminated. And what Ghana Water and Water Resources Commission would have to spend money, millions of money to treat the water before we can pass it through our pipes. So a stitch in time saves nine. But sometimes it's difficult to accept the situation. But we will plead with all of you to accept it as it is. And let's all come together and ensure that we have safe drinking water.
Mr. Wilme, does this reflect the reality as you know it in your constituency?
No, please. Because you see, if you have carried out those intensive exercises, I think the members of parliament would have really heard about it or be invited to be part of some of the meetings leading to those exercises being held. Meeting the various communities and talking to them, and of course carrying out the simulation of what you're intending to do. I'm sure we are key stakeholders of our various constituencies, and we cannot just be wished away in all of this, because we would have gone down to the people and talked to them. Would have communicated better to them what exactly they wanted to carry out. So we're just left out. And so when you talk to the people, they typically they've not heard it. Now, if really that went on, the questions to ask are this: what about those learned, very, should I say, well-informed people who are into fish farming, say, who now are counting huge losses? Some losing over 150 kgs, and then the contents being in various phases at various stages of growth. And you want to tell me that you met all these people and discussed your intended exercise with them, and they didn't take their precautions, and then also you being told about what they have in the water, so that you can probably see how, as part of your simulation, you factor that into your work. So the issue is that who did they talk to? Who did they involve in all of this? And why would they even not involve the members of parliament from the various constituencies that they think are likely to be affected by this spirit? Something is not right somewhere. That's why I think all of these issues about trying to rationalize and trying to say all this, the only way we can answer the questions on the minds of the people, the chiefs, and everyone who is an interested party wanting to know why, is to have a probe into this. And for this year's village, we have to investigate it.
Thank you very much. And that's Kobla Woyome, the MP for South Tong. Are you in the area? Are you one of those affected? 05511119997. I want to hear from you. You heard the minister say that you were sensitized about the impending spillage, and many of you simply refused to move. Is that the case? Let's hear from you here on Newsnight.
We can hear from an 85-year-old frail woman, Janet Gidi. She's been interacting with my colleague Carlos Caloni, and for her, the conditions at the safe haven where she currently lives are not friendly for her age.
The devastation of this flood continues to cause havoc to many, including children, businesses, the elderly. Most of them are traumatized. That's the story of 85-year-old Janet D.
Well, off to Pru East, in the Bono East region, displaced residents are also struggling to feed after floodwater swept through about 7 communities. Nanaya Ojima has been there. Here's his report.
For close to a month, prolonged rains in the Bono East region have resulted in flooding of some communities along the Volta Lake. Among them are Frontier-Kra, Jaklai, Adiamra, Kokomba, Vitudeke, Accra Town, Tonka, and Brekente. Many of these communities are predominantly fishermen and others along the fishing value chain. Due to the floods, these jobs have ceased, leading to economic hardship among the people.
As we came here, you can see everything is everything is gone. So just plead with the government to come to our aid. They should help us with whatever they can use to help us.
This place where we come here is a very difficult place for us. The children are suffering, they cannot go to school, they cannot do anything, they can't even go to the nearby town to buy anything. The river overflows and closes all the roads, nowhere to go.
I trade in fish. My husband is also a fisherman. For months, we haven't been able to go to the lake. We beg before we eat.
According to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, there is a high probability of enhanced rains in the southern sector of the country. Already, roads in the affected Pru East area are heavily flooded, making it difficult for commuting to marketplaces for food and other essentials.
I transport people by motorbike for money. Because of the flood, it has become difficult to travel the route. A short route is costing 50 cedis on the motorbike, and she will continue in a boat.
It costs 50 cedis to commute to markets and back. It is too expensive. Government should intervene.
Meanwhile, there is increased call for support for residents in the area who continue to sleep rough due to the situation. Resident Emmanuel Kokubuam leads the campaign.
Yet nobody, not even the district office of NADMO, they tell you they don't have anything. The region doesn't equally have anything. And please, this is a very serious national disaster.
For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
So from Pru, Evans, let's head to the Sojaman district in the eastern region, because it appears that the health authorities there are alarmed over the high cases of bilharzia recorded this year. In 2022, the cases stood at 22, but has since jumped to 75, representing a 240% increase. We'll get to hear from the district director of health shortly, but first, the member of parliament for the area, Thomas Ampem Dako, is expressing worry over the increment in the bilharzia cases in the area.
Indicates that bilharzia is on the rise, but I do not know if that is a direct consequence of the spillage by the dam. I don't think we have any evidence to that. But it is worrying to realize that in 2021 we recorded 15 cases. In 2022 it increased to 25, but as of last week, 2023, we have recorded 75 cases. And so that is a worrying trend. And so we have intensified education in the communities along the Volta so that they stay away from direct use of the water from the lake. And so this is what I was talking to them about. And I have tried to put in some interventions that will give them alternative source of water, because most of them depend on the water from the lake, and so it is a worrying situation.
Well, let's bring in the Sojaman District Health Director, Rebecca Bante, who joins us on the line right now. Rebecca, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. Hello?
Hello.
Great to have you. Can you confirm this outbreak of bilharzia?
Thank you very much. I wouldn't call it an outbreak, in the sense that bilharzia has been with us. It has been in the district since years. You see, bilharzia or schistosomiasis, as it is technically called, is prevalent in some districts in Ghana, and rating the prevalence rate, we have the highest, the moderate, and mild. And the Sojaman happens to be the district that records highest prevalences of bilharzia in Ghana. So it has been with us, And then the district, in collaboration with DRA, had been trying so much to curb it down. The Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, on a yearly basis, because of the high prevalence, had been doing what we call mass drug administration to ensure that those that are infected, the adults were killed by drugs that are given to school-age children and sometimes to community members.
But since the floods recently, have you seen an increase in the cases?
It wouldn't relate it directly to the village or the flooding. The figure that you are having has been recorded from the beginning of the year to this time. So what happened was that from latter part of last year and early this year, there had been series of training looking at the consequences, especially in women. Because when the eggs are trapped in the female genital organs, there's the possibility of them developing what we call female genital cysticercosis. And the consequences or the complications are some way, somehow irreversible. So we decided to conscientize. We decided to train as many clinicians as possible, even including teachers.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rebecca Bante. And that's the Sujaman District Health Director there.
Well, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service himself, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, has also disclosed that psychologists will be deployed to flood-affected areas to provide victims battling with the trauma with some help.
And we also mobilize our friends and some pharmaceutical companies to bring donations, including water, medicines, etc., not only to you, but to the entire community that have been affected. The regional leadership too has also been able to mobilize resources from other in the region and other districts to come in here and provide support at all the levels. Okay. We know that there have been psychological trauma, and so we have also engaged our psychological society, and I believe that this week they will also be here with their mental health team to ensure that they provide you the necessary psychological support as the October.
Well, so that's the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji. Well, let's head back into the studios. Then it's time for business. George Riafe is back with more from business. What do we have, George?
Well, for coming up, Ghana Revenue Authority shuts down cement company Sol for non-payments of over 700 million Ghana cedis in taxes due. The state and government commits to migrating all expenditure of ministries, departments and agencies onto the GiftMix platform as it takes steps to tighten expenditure. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntax Tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
Doing gets you learning. Learning starts you wondering. Wondering triggers thinking. Thinking becomes planning. Planning evolves to trying. After trying, you're succeeding, winning, owning. Now, doing that starts with outdoing your limits. Outdo them all with MTN. So, what are we doing today?
Hooray! The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us once again. From the 4th of September to the 31st of October 2023, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% to 15% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and so much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, Winneba, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stock lasts. For more information, call us on 0302 764 101 or 0302 764 209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
For over 10 years, Old Mutual has been touching lives in Ghana. Whether you're a trader or a student, an entrepreneur or an employer, or nearing your retirement, we have the right financial solutions tailored just for you. Contact Old Mutual on 030-7000-600 or visit our website on oldmutual.com.gh to learn more. And let's realize your financial freedom together. 10 years of greatness, here for a lifetime. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Media Sambisanda mo. Eti emrantia no. Mumu hwan pa na tumi hwe na mo bodompe mu ma na yakono. Eye kwabna. Na mumu hwan so na tumi tasmale ma ma yene nyina de. Eye kojo. Enu kro. Kobre tumi hwe na bodompe mu sense o yusu president eba. Ayede yan ban ne do braye. Bo si eti na mo ho ban na sem ma na ho de ne. Sa ani na kudwo so yusu president chako. Na no ne de e ma wo se wo ye krejen fita. Na wotimi asiri bedwo ma na filu. Ey kojo. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. Afedie, you're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has closed down a Chinese manufacturing company that is sold for non-payment of some taxes due the state. The company, located in the Tema industrial area, is estimated to owe over 700 million Ghana cedis in taxes due the state. Now, these are VAT infractions, corporate income tax, penalties which have not been paid for more than 2 years. Addressing journalists during the operation, the Accra Central Manager in charge of enforcement at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Joseph Annan, disclosed that all internal routes deployed to get the monies failed, hence the action.
VAT, the levies, CIT, interest, and they even suffered penalty for misleading statement. All that totaling 709,686,828.35 Ghana cedis a person. And all the internal processes have been exhausted. All the notices have been duly served. So we came here this afternoon under the instruction of the Commissioner for Domestic Tax Revenue Division. And for us, I always say that we are men under instruction. What we are taxed to do, we'll do it and do it well. So we have come, we have sealed off the place. If they are able to mobilize enough funds to settle the debt, we'll open for them.
Accra Central Manager in charge of enforcement at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Assistant Commissioner Joseph Annan. The Ghana cedi continues to put some sustained marginal gains against the US dollar from last week. The local currency today maintained stability against the US dollar after some sustained depreciation against the US dollar since earlier this month. However, the rate of depreciation has reduced significantly since the middle of last week. Now, some are linking it to the Bank of Ghana's dollar intervention, which has gone a long way to actually sustain the gains made. Some analysts have also told Joy Business that the outlook for the Ghana cedi remains favorable, as they don't expect things to get out of hand in the last quarter of this year. Now, government is committing to move all expenditure of ministries, departments and agencies onto the GiftMe platform to help check spending in all these areas. Now, the web-based system allows the Finance Ministry to remotely track expenditure that doesn't go processed or doesn't track by the Ministry of Finance. It has also introduced, that was since 2010. Now, Kojo Oponen Nkrumah is the Minister for Information.
We are also trying, as a result of that, bring some more spending controls
that means that we are going to be tightly spending within the revenue limits of the country. If we don't have revenue for it, we are not going necessarily to be, for whatever expediency reasons, whether it's boring or whatever, working to try to meet it. And we're also going to be working further towards bringing inflation down. The Bank of Ghana has mentioned that they're going to continue with a tight monetary policy to bring us down further from 38, downwards to about the mid-20s by the end of this year, and then about 15 by the end of next year. So that's one of the things that is also being signed off. The exchange rate regime is also something that the government, working with the central bank, seeks to maintain so that we don't have any significant further slippages even as we get towards the end of the year. And then on the front of growth and jobs, the government has also approved a number of measures, particularly in the areas of agriculture, aquaculture, and industry, aimed at ensuring that we have a lot more expansion for young people to get jobs and incomes moving forward.
And that is Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah talking about how spending will be done on the gifting platform. The system was introduced since 2010. Now, some Spanish and Italian airlines have applied to directly fly to Accra by summer 2024. Government is therefore reviewing these applications and will soon take action on them in terms of the way forward. Deputy Minister of Transport Hassan Tampuli, who disclosed this to Joy Business, says they sees this as confidence in the economy.
The country has become very attractive for the airlines for various reasons. Year of the return, beyond the return, and so on and so forth, had its own impacts. Now, beyond that, we have found that the investor community is coming in droves. You have a lot of them coming into the country to, explore, business opportunities in the country. More importantly, it's about the policies that the government has rolled out for us to be able to attract. Like I said, we have plans to turn around Terminal 2, in order for us to be able to ease the traffic. As you said, if we get to the point where we need to do something beyond Terminal 3, definitely a decision will be taken. But all options are available for us to consider to Accra. So yes, Ghana is open for business. Airlines are coming, they keep knocking on our doors. We are ready, and we have the infrastructure to accommodate them and then give them an experience that will make them come again.
Deputy Minister of Transport Hassan Tampuli, and that's all for Business on the Newsnight.
Thank you very
Back
much,
to you,
George. Have a good evening, George.
The same to you.
Well, let's do some messages, and some of your messages that you sent via WhatsApp. And this one says, ask the sanitation minister to mention the safe havens or shelters the government has built in the affected communities for the people to move into, and yet the people refused to move. And this, your reactions to the sanitation minister, Frida Prempeh's comments that people were asked to move and they did not move ahead of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. This one from Selom says, the Water and Sanitation Minister should apologize to the people of Mepe and other affected areas for her unfortunate statement. It's very funny. She said the people refused to leave after the simulation exercise. Where does she want them to leave to? Should they leave to Trasacco or Cantonment? Okay, well, some of your comments there. And we have this one also. That was Selom's comment. We have this one from Alfred Selolo Seduji in Tema. He says, yes, they have done their so-called simulation exercise. They did demonstrate to the people how to carry their houses and the other landed properties to go place on higher grounds. That's a comment by Alfred Selolo Seduji. Well, Evans there, frustrated. Well, and this one also, we have this one from Celestine McCarthy. It says, according to the VRA, and they have to wait for the dam to be overflowing before they can open the 6th village at the same time and leaving it several weeks. Okay, so, and the sanitation minister is also talking about money. So, some comments also on that. We have this one from Nana Ekuamwa Boating, also saying it is unfair to be blaming Volta River Authority for this devastation. We have to equally blame our compatriots who failed to heed the announcement to relocate, and that's what the sanitation minister too has been saying. Some of your comments that you've sent in so far via WhatsApp.
Now, the former General Secretary of the NPP. That's the late Kojo Husefri. You know him, MFA.
Yes, John.
He was popularly known by that name and once made a statement, very, very popular now still. Fear delegates, in reference to how delegates can smile in pretense towards an aspirant, take his gifts and assure him of their vote, only to vote against him in the end. And he tasted that in his own time when he campaigned to the top job in the party. Now, ahead of the MPP presidential primaries coming up on November 4, Joy News will be talking to delegates across the country to find out what influences your choice of a candidate to vote for. Now, Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sori has been speaking to some delegates in Bolgatanga and has come through with his report.
I am here at the Upper East Regional Office of the New Patriotic Party. My mission is to speak to delegates of the party to find out what they have in mind as the party prepares to go into the November 4 presidential primaries to select a new flag bearer to lead them into the 2024 elections. Having early on informed the regional secretary of the party of my mission, these 5 delegates volunteered to meet me here for a conversation. They are constituency and polling station executives of the NPP in the Upper East region.
I am the Bolga Central Constituency Youth Organizer, and then I am a delegate. Organizer. Polling station organizer.
So you are a delegate?
I am.
I'm the constituency organizer and member of the regional communication team. I'm also a delegate.
The electoral area, women organizer. Yes, I'm a delegate.
I'm a polling station secretary for Zaro East electoral area. Yes, I'm a delegate, a polling station secretary.
But do they have other careers or occupations outside of politics?
Yes, I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer and I do little business. Aside that, I am a teacher by profession. Yeah, I am a teacher by profession. I do petty trading into looking soap and so many confectionaries.
I'm the proprietor of Great Minds Academy. It's a school and I'm also a farmer. I can tell you that I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm a trader and I'm working under youth employment afforestation. Yes.
Outside of politics, I'm an accountant. I work with Ghana Education Service.
It is a well-known secret that politicians during primaries like the upcoming one often induce delegates with money, valuable items like electronic appliances, food items, and even promises of appointing the delegates to certain positions in government. So I ask these delegates of the Upper East region, would such inducements, if they are made, influence their choice of candidate to vote for in the primaries?
It's not about putting money. I am a farmer. I am a teacher by profession. I'm a businessman. Maybe the policy that the government or the candidate is bringing in place is going to influence my decision, and that is what we are standing for.
There's no amount of money that can influence my vote, because what we do or what we the youth should be looking for is competence. Somebody who you think he can deliver, not about money.
As a candidate, when he comes to me and gives me money, it don't solve my problem. I'm ready to go to Expert Bank for my pay. So you can't bring money to improve me.
For this woman, even her clothes and shoes alone are so expensive that it should send a signal to any candidate that her vote cannot be bought.
Look at my outfits. How much? My gladiators, or let's say long boots. How many pounds? Please. See there, I'm wearing long boots. My outfits. They are all in pounds. So let me mention dollars. How much?
They are very expensive.
Very expensive. No amount of money can change my mind, can induce me.
So, what exactly then would influence their choice of candidates to vote for in the upcoming NPP presidential primaries?
It's the persona, it's the vision, it's the competence, it's an individual who understands the economy.
For the 2024 general elections, it's going to be a very crucial one. Don't forget that the former president is coming again and will need his own brother who will retire him.
Competence, affable. You see, we can describe this man and the wife. He's down to earth.
It appears they have all already made up their minds about who they will be voting for. But should the other candidates offer them money and other gifts in the hope of their votes in return, would they accept the gifts knowing in their hearts that these candidates won't be getting their votes?
For money, when you come and give me money, you need to let the person respect delegate. You understand? You cannot just come and give me money and say that after this particular person, whether I come out with a good policy or not, because I've given him money, he'll vote for me. No. I'll pick the money, or I'll take the money from you, they'll enter to the ballot box, I am my God, one God, and I do the right thing by voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. If a candidate come and offer me money, take and vote for me, I will not even take it. I'm not to vote by. But for example, if you call me to a gathering and you give me TNT, possibly I came with my motorbike, I'll take it and buy my fuel. But if you say take it and vote, I will not.
I will take it, but I will vote for you. Because I believe it's the taxpayers' money, it is our money, I pay tax, I will take it and I will vote for you because you cannot vote my vote.
So, I ask every one of them, are you then a delegate to be feared?
No, fear delegates, it's not true because when he comes with money, gifts, I will collect because we are all Elephant's family.
Fear delegate is true. Sir John once said it. But the most important thing to understand is that it is one way or the other we the politicians who have made the delegates to behave like that. This election that we are going on the 4th November, the delegates or majority of the delegates know who will help lead the party.
Well, in the November 4 NPP presidential primaries, voting will be done in secret ballots, just like in every election in Ghana. And so, whether these delegates will do as they have told us or not, you and I will not be there to see. Albert Sorry, Joy News, Paul Gatanga.
Indeed, fear delegates. NMF. You know, my favorite clip from that report is that lady who says, "If you look at me, you think I can be bothered."
But they are the ones that take the money.
You know, and that's why you need to fear delegates.
Yes.
Fear delegates.
So you can live long.
Yes. We'll see. But we're going to be hearing a bit more fear delegates every Monday and Thursday here on the Joy News channel. Also here on Joy 99.7 FM and on the Joy News channel also. So you want to stay with us for that. It's part of our build-up to November 4.
Can't wait for that. And this is your election headquarters. Let's do sports. And Musbao is here with the very latest. Hello, Musbao.
Hello, MFO. Welcome back. See, you had a lot of fun. Good one there. Well, the last round of matches in this week of the Ghana Premier League came off, and it was Bibini Bay's Gold Stars who were stunned by Pando Hearts of Lions after the newly promoted side fought back to end a 2-2 draw in the game played earlier today at the Dance Park in Bibiani. Now, the draw meant that Gold Stars missed an opportunity to go up the league log by clinching all 3 points. Well, coach of the side, Michael Osei, has been explaining why his team failed to maintain their 2-goal lead.
Actually, it was a very, very difficult game. Let me credit the opponent. I think they were very tactical, disciplined. It was a game that we wanted to win at all costs, and then we got the first 2 goals. And then I think defensively, and then tactically we couldn't defend very good, and then they were able to equalize the 2 goals. It's very, very unfortunate game, but. We go back to the drawing board and then make sure we better our game next game.
Well, the draw for Hearts of Lions meant that they've now secured a 5th successive draw in the Ghana Premier League since they got promoted into the top flight competition there. Well, coach of the side, Fatau Salifu, says it only shows signs of a win being imminent.
As a new entrance, of course, we know how the league goes for all new entrants, and
We're still looking for our win. Of course, like I rightly mentioned in the first interview, that we played so well in most of our games, but it's just that the scoring is sometimes the challenge we have. But this evening, you can see that we utilized at least 2 of our chances that gave us at least a point. We could have gone without a point. But at least scoring today tells me that it is coming, of course, and I'm sure we'll be winning matches to come.
Tao Salifu, the head coach of Pando Heart of Lions. Well, Evans and MFR, the Champions League returns tomorrow, and the game that we'll be bringing you is Manchester United versus Copenhagen. Manchester United are currently lying bottom of their group in the Champions League and will be looking to win that game by all means. And guess what? George Adde Jr. and Gary Alsmith will bring you live commentary of that game from Old Trafford in the UK. So make it with us here on Joy 99.7 FM. And of course, the African Football League also continues tomorrow with Simba and Al Ahly. Al Ahly will be hosting Simba in the second leg of the African Football League. Well, that's it for sports, and it's brought to you by Pepsi and Herbal and Jaco.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bao.
Well, let's focus on Schools of Shame. You know, we've been doing this. It's been a series that we've been running for some time now.
This is season 3.
Yes, and we've had people intervening. We've had at least the Education Ministry amongst others. But the latest at this time, we know the story about the Siru DA Primary School in the Awa West District of the Upper West region, I should say. They no longer have to endure this hardship thanks to Horseman Shoe Company Limited for donating sandals to the entire school. The chief executive of Horseman, Tony Senyaya, said joining series Ghana Schools of Shame by Jojo Kobna moved him to help the kids enjoy going back to school. Rafiq Salam reports from Siru.
The donation of the 140 pairs of sandals and assorted items to Siru DA Primary School by Horseman Shoes Company Limited came as a result of a documentary by Johnny Jojo Kobna titled Ghana School of Shame. In the documentary, Jojo Kobna exposed the harrowing picture of the challenges that pupils at Siru DA Primary School in the Wobbles district go through to have access to basic education, including walking to school barefooted. Headmistress of the school, Don Mahatibel, expressed joy over the donation amid painting a mental picture of the situation at the school.
Most of our people, they come to school walking barefoot. You can imagine when the sun is hot, the child is walking barefoot. It's rain, the whole place is muddy, the child is walking barefoot. But still, with all this, the child still moves from home, come to school every day to be taught. So getting these sandals means that it will increase our enrollment, teaching and learning will be more effective, and people will enjoy coming to school the more.
Chief Executive Officer of Horseman Shoes Company Limited, Tony Sinaya, disclosed that the choice of the donation at the school was born out of the communal spirit displayed by the people in their bid to have their children have secular education, following a conversation he had with Jojo Kobna.
Siru made a very good impression on him, and that Siru showed a spirit of communal commitment to education. Even though it is an underprivileged society and community, parents and the community of the whole entire community of Siru show so much commitment to education. I was touched by this testament, and indeed, coming here, we have seen your commitment and the spirit that Jojo told me about.
Residents of the community have expressed excitement and joy over the donation and appeal to corporate organizations and individuals to come to their aid. For the Chief Executive Officer of Horseman Shoes Company Limited, the donation won't be the last. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Siru.
Thank you so much, Tony Senaya and the Horseman Shoe Company Limited, for making these children so happy. And that's in our series of Schools of Shame. We'll be focusing on another school shortly, and Jojo Kobna and the team are out and about, and we're bringing you the next School of Shame. But let's focus on the University of Cape Coast now.
Yes, we should. And Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Sesam Jonah, says it's a tragedy that virtues such as integrity, honesty, prioritizing national interests above self, among others, which are needed in overdose in Ghana's present circumstances, are missing in the curriculum for African students at all levels. Now, speaking at the 13th Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Lecture at the University of Cape Coast, the global business icon and statesman said there are important lessons from Nkrumah's life that are desperately needed to undo the deep damage in the management of Africa's resources.
Brilliant, inspiring, sobering, important lessons in leadership, priority of national interest above self, honesty, integrity, trust, lessons in how religiosity has affected development. These are all important lessons which clearly are needed in overdose in our present circumstances in Ghana and, of course, on the continent. It is, listening to the professor, it's a tragedy that these important lessons are not part of the everyday curriculum of African students at all levels. It was quite shocking to hear that indeed Nkrumah's books, which, as you recall, were burnt at the University of Ghana when Nkrumah was overthrown, an event which was done under the supervision of the American ambassador at the time, who happened to be African American, that these books are not actually even available in our campuses, let alone taught as courses. It is a tragedy. Know that Sankofa, there's nothing wrong with that. We've made mistakes. There are important lessons in this man's leadership journey which desperately are needed if we are to, as it were, undo the immense deep damage that we all know we have done in the management of our continent's resources.
Dr. Sir Sam Jonah, a word to the wise, they always say.
Should we say in the south?
In the north? Okay.
Well, it's everywhere, actually.
Yeah. And that's how we wrap up tonight's edition of News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM. That's my opinion. With Nana Ansakwa is up next. Help us to be less corrupt Ghana to IMF. You ought to stay for that.